Welcome. I am thrilled to introduce Target to Zero to improve performance and outcomes. First, let me introduce myself. My name's Scarlett Williams. I've developed Target to Zero as an improved modality that has the potential to help many people. I'm a licensed professional counselor in private practice in Blacksburg, Virginia. Target to Zero, trademark pending, is a stress reduction modality that includes movement therapy, EMDR, EMDR 2.0, and neuroscience research. How this works, let me explain it. When we experience something between bothersome to life-threatening, our brain performs a safety heuristic so that the details of that adverse event equal threat, which then equals symptoms. So this is how our brains work. It's a fundamental process that we all experience. Let me explain this in a little bit more detail. Say 12,000 years ago, you were at a watering hole. Okay? You were gathering some water, and there was not a mountain lion, but a saber-toothed tiger. If you survive that adverse event, your brain would remember not only the predator, but also minute details of the scene in order to keep you safe in future times, so that your brain would remember the angle of the sky, the angle of the sun in the sky, the ripple of the water, the way the breeze felt on your face. So that the next time you were in a similar situation and your brain noticed one of those details, it would then equate those details with threat, and it would cause some symptoms. So the next time you were at a similar watering hole and the water rippled similarly, or the breeze hit your face in a similar way, you might experience some anxiety. You might have an urge to run away. You might have a fast heartbeat. Your stomach might drop out. Okay? As an evolutionary perspective, hopefully 12,000 years ago you did run away so that you could have more kids so that we could be here now. So it's a survival mechanism that we have as humans. So the previous event, the encounter with the saber-toothed tiger 12,000 years ago, equals the current event, so that the details from the past event are storing and causing symptoms in the current situation, when the current situation is similar to the previous scenario or space or the event. Let me explain this in another way. So let's say that you experienced some bullying back in the 3rd grade, okay? Not only are you going to remember the bullies, but you're going to remember the texture of the carpet, the color of the wall, the particular mannerism in which the bullies pointed their fingers, okay? The facial expression of the bullies. So you're going to store all of that information as threat to help keep you safe in the future. So you're in your mid-30s, you're in a work meeting, and you notice over time, and in those work meetings, you kind of notice afterwards, I had a lot of anxiety in those work meetings, okay? Your conscious part of your brain's not going to remember that event, but that event of bullying is causing you to experience symptoms in your current situation, in your current time of life, so that if your work colleagues point their fingers in a similar way or make a similar facial expression, your brain's going to interpret that as threat and then cause symptoms. That's how our brains work. So that previous event is storing and causing symptoms in your current experience. Let me give you another example. Let's say that in 6th grade, you had a championship game, you kicked the ball, you missed the ball slightly, and then 3 plays later, the team lost the game. So in your mind, your 6th grade mind, you've always thought that if you had kicked the ball slightly differently, the team would have won the championship. So in that particular situation, you have always thought that it was your fault. the team, it was your fault that you did not win the championship. Okay, so that information is going to be storing as adverse or life-threatening, right? Because it's like a competition, so it's going to have more charge to it. So it's going to be storing as an adverse event, as a bothersome event for you. You're going to remember, right, the color of the jerseys that your team and the other team had, the way that your foot hit the ground, the swish of the ball. So all these minute details can cause you negative effects in your current play. Fast forward to the future, okay? Now you're playing professional soccer. It's a championship game, State of the World Cup, and your team has on the same color jersey that you had on back in the 6th grade, okay? You're gonna go for the ball, right? And then because you're storing that information as adversely or negatively, it's gonna cause you to decrease out your level of play in the current situation. So you might misstep, okay, if the color of the jerseys activate you, or the swish of the ball, or the way that your foot hits the ground, or the position of your body moving through space. Okay, so previous events are negatively affecting us in our current performance. That's just how our brains work. So that previous event can be storing negatively and negatively affecting current performance. So our brain's performing a safety heuristic. So details of adverse events equal threat, which then equals symptoms. So I started doing EMDR in 2015, and over time, these are a cluster of symptoms that I've seen when people are coming in. And back in 2015, 2016, I was saying, EMDR would be a helpful modality to use when clients, decided to come see me as in private practice here in Blacksburg, Virginia. So over time, these are the symptoms that patients report and the resulting cluster of common diagnoses that occur from adverse events happening in people's lives. Anxiety, ADHD, ADD, depression, sleep disturbance, chronic illness, chronic pain, OCD, performance anxiety, phobias, PTSD, complex PTSD, and personality disorders. So adverse events negatively affect us through the lifetime by causing our brains to have a lot of, our brains are associating a lot of threat in our current situation and causing us to have a large variety of symptoms. So we clear the details to clear the symptoms. Clear the details with Target to Zero. Please contact me for consultation and training at targettozero@gmail.com for Target to Zero services in person through as a counseling technique. Please contact me at scarlettwilliamslpc@gmail.com. Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it.